Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing my final review for the first half of The Walking Dead Season 7. This one's for the mid-season finale now. Hearts still beating. And of course, spoiler warning, if you guys have not seen this packed episode yet, you definitely want to watch it before you watch my review. That said, also in the channel, if you guys haven't seen my reaction video to the mid-season finale yet, you can go ahead and watch that live viewing reaction. It's just like 5 or 6 minutes, and it's me when I'm watching first time on my TV, and just letting you guys know how I felt about the finale first viewing response. So that's the reaction. This one is going to be my actual full-length review where we go into all the details. Now, that said, for this one, it's going to be really hard to recap everything, and I'm sure we're going to omit things. I'm sure we're going to leave things out because there simply was just so much stuff in this episode. It was just awesome to see. I mean, a 90-minute episode, another one. We've had lots of extended episodes this half, and I feel like this is probably the best one we've had, maybe even better than episode 7 since probably the premiere episode. This one was really nuts. I mean, like I said, spoiler warning, we get the deaths of Olivia, we get the deaths of Spencer, and then Fat Joey as well. In terms of predictions, this went a lot how I thought it might go. A lot of our predictions were correct. And I will say that for this one did kind of get spoiled for me. I think about 2 days ago, I started seeing comments with people kind of posting pretty much most of what we saw. So unfortunately, this one did get a bit spoiled for me. It did take away from my reaction a little bit because as I was seeing the episode play through, I figured out and I kind of realized, like, okay, especially when you see Fat Joey get killed and everything, it's like, okay, so whoever got that info, whoever was posting it, inside info, unfortunately kind of ruined it for me, at least a little bit, and I'm sure for some of you guys as well too, which sucks. That said, I still enjoyed the absolute hell out of this episode. It really takes The Walking Dead from where it's been at in the first half, and I feel like gets it back on track to what we're used to for the second half of Season 7, with kind of ending off on kind of a hopeful note, where at the beginning, we're fully beaten down by Negan. Rick is in a position where he feels like they cannot fight back against Negan whatsoever, and at the end of this episode, really nice transition, as a lot of us expected, and this was one of the things that we've been predicting and giving our thoughts to, is that Rick kind of gets his mojo back, so to speak, and he's ready to fight back against Negan because he realizes in this episode that it's a necessity. If they're going to survive, there's no way they can survive under Negan's rule long term. I mean, Negan is going to just do whatever he wants with them. They're going to be his playthings, and if he chooses to kill one of them at any given time, then he will do so. So we start off the episode, we have Maggie at the hilltop, and she's sitting near the graves with the sticks and everything. We have her climb up to the top, and we have the start of what seems to be kind of a switch in terms of leadership at the hilltop, or the beginning of such, as a lot of people really seem to like Maggie a lot and really care for her. And even with the apple, the guy who was on top of the hilltop wall, I'm not sure if it was Cal or somebody else, yells down at Gregory, "She's pregnant, dude," so he kind of has to, I feel like he has to give her the apple, otherwise he's going to seem like a jerk, right? Which he is, of course. Gregory is a jerk, but I think he's pretty fantastic, and Xander Berkeley is pretty awesome as Gregory, especially based on the comics and what we know him to be. The television series version so far has been, just spot on for that, and it's really funny. Don't let it go to your head, he says, right? He's such a jerk no matter what, right? And, it is bothering him, I'm sure, so that's kind of a cool call out from Maggie, calling it just like it is. We've got Negan, and he's shaving, so he's shaving, and he's got Carl, and I laughed quite a bit at this opening sequence just because he's just like, he's just like sitting there and everything, getting ready to have dinner. It's just really funny. I'm not sure why, but as you guys saw in the reaction video too, I constantly laugh at different things that Negan does. It's just like instantaneous. He doesn't even have to do much, and I just start laughing. It's just kind of my response to it. So JDM killing it as usual in the role. Got the food stuff. Then they splice in Daryl escaping. So we got a few little sequences of him escaping, and it carries through all the way through the episode. Then we have Carl, please pass the rolls, please. Really funny. So he passes it, and roll intro. Already I'm laughing right after the intro sequence. It's just so funny. I don't know how you can't laugh at Negan. He cracks me up like crazy. Then we come back after the intro. We've got Eugene and the Savior girl who likes Spencer. She kind of comes on to Spencer a little bit, and it's a bit weird. Hey, haircut. You like watching? It was just funny because we have seen, Eugene. He does like to watch. He does enjoy watching, and he often does. We've got Carol and Morgan, and we cut back and forth quite a few times in the episode between everything, but I felt like it was well handled, and it was a little clunky with the editing going back and forth and everything because there's just so much happening. But at the same time, I felt like it was good, and it was kind of what we needed to see the story progress. As you have so many characters and so much stuff happening at the same time, it's necessary now. So you see them. You've got Carol, Morgan, and Richard who talks to them. Richard at this point really wants to fight back against the Saviors if at all possible. They still don't tell Richard that where they're from, Alexandria, Rick, and all the others. They don't tell him, but I'm sure Carol and Morgan must expect the worst because, of course, the Saviors are still alive, and now they're seeing another group of Saviors as well, even though they've been battling and fighting back against them already. Got the sequence with Rick and Aaron, the zombies in the canoe and that, and I felt like that was pretty exciting, especially when Aaron kind of gets pushed off. He goes for a swim there, and Rick, and they finally kind of get in there and are able to get all the supplies and everything and head out. Then we have whoever it is, the guy with the boots, who's watching them. Filler guy with boots, I don't know who it is. I'll have to look through the Walking Dead comics and see, are there any characters who kind of come into the story around this time that, from the comics that are not in there. I can't think of anyone off the top of my head, but you guys can write a comment below, and we'll discuss more in Q&As this week, of course, on who we think it is, the guy who's watching them, the survivalist guy, it seems, and what he's up to. But it was a pretty cool sequence, some pretty cool zombie kills in this one. Zombie kill of the week, I want to go with the female zombie that that Rick gets with the sign. It's pretty cool in the water. That was pretty cool. It almost reminded me of Fear the Walking Dead a little bit because we don't often get to see zombies in the water like that. So it's still a cool sequence. We've got Daryl. He's eating peanut butter and he's trying to kind of get through. And you've got a whole bunch of Saviors around, so he'll sneak in, eat his peanut butter, and then carry onwards. Let's see. Then we've got Michonne with the guns. So you've got Michonne and this other Savior girl, and she wants to change how this ends for her. We've got Maggie and the apple pie, which is funny, and Enid knows about Sasha and their plan, Sasha and Jesus' plan, and not telling Maggie. We've got Richard from both places, so things will go bad if they don't strike first. So Richard wants to strike against the Saviors right now, but he doesn't know as much about them as Morgan and Carol do. He doesn't know that Morgan and Carol have already been fighting against them, and Morgan and Carol have a better idea of just how many numbers they have. So as we see in the second half of The Walking Dead Season 7 in the promo, it looks like Rick and the others are going to find the kingdom. They're going to go there, and they're going to find Carol and Morgan. Probably be pretty happy that they're alive. That'll be a good reunite because they haven't seen each other since the finale, even before the finale of The Walking Dead Season 6, just before the finale. So that'll be good to see them all kind of join together. I'm sure Richard will really like Rick and the others and their ideas of what to do against the Saviors and fighting back against them when we see that all come together. Then we've got the scene with Rosita, who wants vengeance, and Gabriel. So Gabriel talks to Rosita. I really like this sequence. I thought it was awesome for Gabriel to get to see him just kind of let her know that she doesn't have to do this, and it's not a good idea, and that she's putting her own life in jeopardy for no reason, and lets her know that they need her. So I thought that was just a great, just telling her exactly what she needed to hear from Gabriel to not do it. And as many of us predicted, the bullet, of course, does miss because it's not perfect. It's like the first one Eugene has made, and it ends up hitting Lucille instead. I love Negan's reaction to it. It's like, oh, Lucille. Awesome. Daryl's mostly getting away. You've got Carol and Morgan who both say no to Richard. They both don't want to fight. They both are not interested. So we'll see if that changes once Rick and the others kind of meet with Ezekiel, and whether or not Carol and Morgan want to fight against him. I'm not sure for either one for the second half of Season 7 if either are going to want to, because Carol, of course, she's so tired. She doesn't want to fight. She just wants to be left alone and have that be it. Hopefully, we'll get to see her fight because I'd like to see that. And as well with Morgan, too. Hopefully he Negan kind of realized that in this situation they kind of have to, and that they could really use both of them because, I mean, the Saviors have so many in terms of numbers, it's crazy. We've got the Spencer stuff where his whole place is kind of ransacked and he's kind of getting ready like he's going to a job interview. He's practicing in the mirror, which is really funny. He's kind of doing what Deanna would do, but he doesn't realize that this is someone that you cannot reason with, and you can't do what he's about to do with Negan. It's just a terrible idea from the get-go, and of course it ends brutally badly. So we've got the dinner sequence. We've got Daryl killing Fat Joe, and Jesus finds him, as many of us expected he would, with the pipe. And it's not about surviving; it's about getting it all. And I agree with Daryl. That's exactly what it's about. Then we have Spencer talking with Negan. We've got Michonne who, kind of arrives there. That's Negan. We're all Negan. That whole kind of bit, the usual type of thing. And you can't. Now I'm wondering what she did with the girl. Did Michonne allow her to live? Did Michonne kill her? From what I understand, I think she allowed her to live. But I may have missed something. I don't know. There was a lot of commercial breaks and stuff. I went to the washroom a couple times, but I don't think so. I'll have to check back after. But it looks to me like she probably, knowing Michonne and seeing the mood Michonne was in, I think she may have actually let the girl live, and maybe just trusted in her that she wouldn't tell Negan, she wouldn't tell the others, because I'm sure the girl kind of understands the position that Michonne is in, and just kind of the way she sees it is that, she's kind of getting used to this and that she needs some time to realize this. And plus, it's not like Michonne killed her right away or anything like that. She did, and she didn't, beat her up too badly. It's not bad enough to be forgiven, probably forgotten. Then we have Rick, who arrives back. Where is he? We waited for you. This scene was actually a bit difficult to watch. So you have Aaron, who's getting beaten up by a couple of the bigger Saviors, and Rick kind of has to watch it happen, which is kind of brutal. I actually thought this one was a little bit weird because I figured that they actually would probably be nice to Rick since he's the leader of Alexandria, the safe zone and everything, and that they would just let him go with Aaron to see Negan. But I guess maybe they could kind of defend themselves, and that they suspected some funny business based on the notes that they saw there. Still, it was a hard sequence to watch, and it was nice to see him at the end with Eric, and we also saw Tobin, who is there as well. We haven't seen them for ever. I'm trying to remember. Was it episode 4 when we saw them? I don't even remember because their sequences are so they're faded in the background so much, it's almost like they don't even get any screen time hardly. But it was nice to see Aaron and Eric back together there, and it was sad to see Aaron getting beaten up. It's hard not to like Aaron. I think he's a great character. He's a lot of fun to see, and he's really nice, and he does his part. And I thought some more badass moments for him in the episode when he goes with Rick to get the stash. Then we go back to Spencer and Negan, who are discussing what to do with Rick, or Spencer's discussing what to do with Rick. And, Negan is allowing him, he's being kind of nice to him to find out his true intentions and what Spencer really wants to do. Ego being out of control and, put you in charge. And then we have the gut sequence. So, man, the gut sequence was pretty crazy. It was very close to how it was done in the comic books. Both versions are pretty epic. In terms of which one's more brutal, between this and season 7, we've seen a lot of stuff that's pretty brutal before. This one, the gut sequence was pretty bad. The way they kind of did it, you can kind of see the knife. It seemed to me to be a little bit more crazy in the comic version and a little bit more brutal. I'm not sure why. This one seemed kind of a little bit cleaner. You see him do it. You see the knife, but they didn't exactly, they kind of focused on it, but kind of not. It was pretty well done compared to the comic book version. If I have to say, I might prefer the comic book version with this sequence where he gets cut out and the guts kind of fall out. It's still brutal. It's still hard to watch, when you're seeing it. And the delivery of the lines I thought was really good by JDM. The thing that reminds me the most of is there's one cover for the comic where Negan's got the big knife, right, that we didn't even see until it was too late in this one, and everybody kind of reacts to it around. But in the comic book version, there's this smiling face Negan. It's on T-shirts and stuff. You can see it where he's got the big, big knife that he uses to cut out Spencer's guts and tell him he has no guts. I felt like it was pretty good in the TV series. Maybe a little bit better in the comics with this one, which isn't usually the case, but in this one it was. Either way, it was crazy, and I'm sure people that haven't read that part of the comics were absolutely just quite a bit of shock value there from getting to see Spencer be gutted just like that. But it was telegraphed quite a bit. You could kind of see this coming all along the way, especially in the episode when Spencer's like practicing in the mirror and stuff. Those of us knowing what's going to happen, I mean, it was kind of funny to see him get ready and everything that happened, up until the moment. So it puts us in a really weird spot as a viewer, because it's kind of like at this time in the series, I didn't really like Spencer because of everything that he's doing and how he's acting and everything, and being against Rick, of course. But at the same time, what Negan did was so brutal, it shouldn't be funny, but in some ways it kind of is, especially when Lucille gets shot, and he makes like a huge deal about it. It's like his bat, right? But it's this huge deal that Rosita shot Lucille. It's funny. So the sequence afterwards was also pretty crazy, and this is where I think they remixed it pretty good. The stuff with Rosita, her almost getting cut and stuff. For a moment there, I did think they might, kill Rosita, but due to spoilers, I was like, no, it'll probably be okay. And then, as the spoilers had said, ends up that Olivia ends up being killed and shot, which is kind of tragic. She's never been like an A or B list character. I put her like a C or D list character, and we kind of expect to see this kind of stuff from Walking Dead. It's Walking Dead, but it was still kind of sad to see it and kind of just all this craziness happening at the same time. Meanwhile, Rick is just kind of coming up now, just at kind of the right time to see all this shit happen. And then Negan kind of like starts talking to him like he did him a favor about the Spencer thing, which went through a little bit quicker in the TV series than it did in the comics. It was pretty well done. I did like it for the TV series version of all this, and it was pretty nuts and just all this craziness happening at the same time. We have Tara, who tries to take the blame for the manufacturing of the bullet. Negan is super impressed and finds out that it was Eugene. So he's going to take Eugene with him. And let's see, we have the sequence after that with Michonne in the cell. So Rick's in the cell. I think maybe a little bit of foreshadowing there, or at least maybe him trying to get his mind right that maybe they will use the cell later on. And good sequence. I felt like, okay, so you get the crazy climactic shock value, kills and all that, especially the Spencer one. Oh, right, and Rick puts down, Spencer as a zombie, which is kind of sad, of course, because of Deanna making a promise to take care of Spencer and everything and watch out for him and all that. So then we have the sequence with Michonne and Rick. So Michonne's back now, and they realize that they can do it, that they can win. Michonne gets her hope back and realizes that they're going to have to fight, and that's just what it is. You've got Rick, who says to Maggie that she was right all along, which, I mean, I love this sequence at the end here when they're all kind of walking up. The different shots and everything they used I thought were really great. They're walking kind of up the hill, uphill battle, so to speak, towards the hilltop. You see Daryl, and he returns the Colt to Rick, which was awesome sequence. Jesus comes in as well, too. And I felt like that was a pretty special moment because the group has been so splintered all over the place for this half season, and it started in such a brutal spot with the season premiere, and now they're kind of all back together. It's sunny out, and and full of hope, and it's a nice day, and they're really feeling like, okay, we can do this. We really have no other choice. We have to. So ends on a really great note. After that, a weird sequence where we see someone spying on, I think it's Gabriel on top of Alexandria, the same guy with the boots, the Fisher guy or whatever, survivalist guy. So we'll see what comes of that next half. Could be something to kind of space out the second half is what I'm kind of thinking. Either way, I thought this was a tremendous mid-season finale. I mean, this is one of the most packed, extended mid-season finales we've ever had. We had some really dark moments with the gut sequence and everything. We had some horrific parts. We had some sad parts with Olivia being killed, and some just a lot of different stuff happening. But in the end, ending on a really positive note, on a really happy note for this half season, getting us back in the right direction, and I think getting the show kind of back on track for what we like to see most, and seeing Rick and the others in a position of strength again. All in all, fantastic mid-season finale. Really gets The Walking Dead, I feel like, back on track and really has me excited again to see the second half of The Walking Dead Season 7. I'm going to give it a 9.8 out of 10. I thought it was very close to perfect. Maybe a few things that they could have done better with the gut sequence and stuff that went by kind of quick, and maybe some other stuff they could have taken out and kind of expand on that a little bit or slowed that sequence down a little bit because it was so nuts. But either way, I mean, just a tremendous episode, and it's going to be a bit of a wait, but I really feel like this was a great one to get the show back on track again. If you guys like this review, please don't forget, thumb it up below, guys. If you got a Facebook and you want to share through for me, click the share through to Facebook. Check out some other videos here for the channel, predictions and reaction to the mid-season finale and everything. Tremendous mid-season finale. Absolutely loved it. Killed it. Awesome. And if you're new and you want to subscribe, bottom left, guys, to subscribe. Stick with me over the break, guys. Going to do the predictions video. I'll have that posted in about half an hour to an hour for you guys. And lots of videos over the break. We'll be doing one pretty much every day, at least for a little while. That's it for the review, guys. I hope you liked the first half of The Walking Dead Season 7. I'll see you again soon. As always, it's Trev, and I'm saying peace. Later, guys. You can share, you can favorite, you can subscribe. Hell, you're all going to be doing that.